My journey with breast cancer wasn't an easy one. When I look back and now, somehow I can say it was a blessing in disguise. There was so much in me that I didn't know I had. Having breast cancer made me discover a new me. I, Arabinrin Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, I'm a breast cancer survivor of 20 years and still counting.
Breast cancer is the commonest cause of cancer-related mortality among Nigerian women. Due to the poor image of the disease in our nation, lack of information and policy failure, breast cancer is not yet receiving the much-deserved attention. Nigeria, with a population of 170 million people, needs 175 radiology centers. Presently, the country only has 7 which perform very poorly. The absence of a national cancer policy is fueling the neglect of breast cancer as a public health issue, leaving cancer patients basically on their own. The fear is palpable that breast cancer is a killer disease. Many women suffer in silence, a silence born out of the fear of discovery. But all that is changing as women in Nigeria are rising up and owning their voice. They're beginning to speak out, to fight back, to reclaim their voices. For Arabinrin Betty Akeredolu, the journey began 20 years ago. Survivors.
On that fateful morning, I was having a bath and my right hand just, you're having your bath, it just scrubbing, and then I just felt a bump on my left breast. Of course, I paused, given that it wasn't as if I was ignorant of breast cancer. I've heard about it while in the university. I've also read about it. A lot of things were running riot in my head. Could this be breast cancer? Am I going to die? My kids were so young. My baby, my last boy, was in nursery. That was my most concern. So I was just there in my bed, rolling over, and there, this program was on Sky Channel, and it was about breast cancer and journey of breast cancer survivors. Up to now, I can't explain the actions that I took. I didn't go to someone that was familiar to us. Naturally, you will go to your family doctor. I didn't go to a family doctor. I went to an alumnus. There was this connection. And I asked her to check me. She checked. But because that wasn't her own area, she had to refer me to the real place that I should be, and that's outpatient surgery. But she confirmed there was a lump. So she now gave me this note. That will be referral now to outpatient, the Department of Surgery. So, of course, I went there, of course, they took the paper and the referral note, opened a case file for me, and then now directed me to a doctor that will now, do the needful. And of course, he examined me and everything, confirmed that there was a lump. But, you can't just assume that what is in there was breast cancer. There will be further tests. They have to do some other tests and so on. It's after that test, they call it needle biopsy.
After the biopsy, the results showed malignant lumps and a mastectomy, a surgical procedure involving the removal of the affected breast, was recommended. Dr. Adisa is a general consultant and surgeon at the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital, Ife. We asked him to explain the procedure.
Obtaining a histopathologic confirmation where a part of that lump is taken for examination is compulsory. We must have a confirmation, a scientific evidence that abnormal cells, cancerous cells, were seen. If that is seen, then there are different modalities of treatment for breast cancer. Operation can involve removing a part of the breast or the whole of the breast. A part of it is only removed when the lump is detected at a very early stage. If it is not very, very early, if only a part of the breast is removed, there are chances that the residual part of that breast may bring recurrence of the cancer. So when we see women presenting early, the option of removing the breast and reconstructing the breast is open for those presenting early. And that is why this issue of awareness leading to early detection and early presentation is to the benefit of the patient.
The result of the biopsy confirmed that it was cancerous. But so after the cable program, I had made up my mind. So I was kind of prepared. I got home and I told my husband. He was with me all the way. Even when it became inevitable that I must do mastectomy, the doctors were not comfortable to break the news. But I saw it on their faces. That, when you do the biopsy, then it confirms that it's cancerous. What next? You do the mastectomy, as at that time, it has to be. I looked at their faces. I knew. I turned to my husband and I said, darling, if they remove this one, you play with the other. That was how I broke the ice. They were not comfortable. In fact, it was later on they said, Betty, you didn't know what you did to us. You just removed that burden from our shoulders. Because time and time again, women are told that you have to remove your breast to live. They will run away. And they now come when things are out of hand. Then of what use? What are you doing with diseased breast? And I said, if that's what it takes for me to remain alive, please take it off. The main reason, I have to live. I have to be here and raise my children.
It's usually a tough call when you have to tell a woman that she has cancer. Usually I don't like to do it, but sometimes it's just something you have to do. So the first thing is most women are in denial. They just stare, go quiet, and they just look at you, and they're trying to process the whole information. And then they get angry that why me? Why did it have to happen to me? They ask a lot of questions. Is it sin? Is it something I did? Is it a lifestyle? And then they begin to come to terms with it, then they accept this. But between that denial and anger period, a lot of things can happen. The woman may say, well, there's nothing there, so I'm not going to do anything about it. Or seek other, alternative treatment. Try herbs, try prayers, try everything, and neglect the expertise that they have in doctors. So, but women who accept quickly and have that support, family support, do extremely well.
In other parts of the world, breast cancer has also been noticed to be on the increase as it is in Nigeria. However, the mortality from breast cancer has been drastically reduced in other parts of the world because of early detection. Like every other cancer, if cancer is detected early and treatment is instituted at that early stage, the chances of achieving cure is much, much higher. And one of the reasons why it's a leading cause of mortality among Nigerian women is because the majority of women in every hospital in Nigeria present with late stage of the disease.
I knew that if you leave this lump, it continues to grow and be progressing to other stages that will even take your life. And before you go for surgery, the drug that will put you to sleep, they usually test it to make sure it's compatible with you. That had been done. But on the day of my surgery, it finished. So there was an issue. Will they now give me another one that they had not tested the compatibility? We didn't know what to do. But the decision has to be mine, whether I should continue or not. I said, let them go ahead. Of course, the next thing I had was when I looked up, I had come back and here the sutures and so on going and so on.
After her recovery, Mrs. Akeredolu did something significant. She decided she would not be part of the collective silence on breast cancer. Armed with her new knowledge, she embarked on a mission to change the widespread perception that breast cancer is a death sentence and has no cure.
It was a big Thanksgiving for me. I realized upon getting to the hospital that people were, I didn't know. Not until I was diagnosed of breast cancer, I didn't know that anybody, anywhere around me or close to me ever had this disease. Like most of us, you read about these things and you never thought that it could come close. So I never knew until I got there. So it got to the usage. So there was nothing like a group you can, call upon, or somebody who had passed through that experience that you could draw strength from her. There was nothing. I was alone. I never knew that breast cancer progresses with time until I got to usage. So you can come in with just a lump and it's breast cancer, and you have your surgery and leave. But there are ones that come in terrible stages. Their breasts blown out, some fungating, you can't even stand the stench. And I wondered, you mean this is breast cancer? And somebody will I said, what were they thinking? I said, no, I won't keep quiet. I met right there. I told my consultant, I said, I don't think I'll keep quiet. Now that I know that if you don't do anything, this is where you will be.
There and then, the seed was planted in her heart for what would become the Breast Cancer Association of Nigeria, a leading non-profit organization galvanizing action to end breast cancer in Nigeria through public education, patient support, and advocacy and research. Founded in 1997, the Breast Cancer Association of Nigeria, BRECAN, is increasingly improving the lives of many touched by breast cancer who would have succumbed to the disease due to ignorance and lack of support.
When I met her, actually, we clicked and we became quite close during the Bring Back Our Girls period. And we were the ones that were doing the square sitting out and all the walking, trying to raise awareness about the plight of these our young girls. And when I met her, I saw in her somebody who is a very determined person. She's focused, and whatever she's passionate about, she will go all out for it. In fact, I call her Auntie Bulldozer. She'll make sure that she uses everything within her power to make sure that whatever she lays her hands on will come to pass. There is no, it's not possible in her dictionary. It has to be done, and you must do it. And I wonder how she copes. At least before, I used to wonder how she copes. And now that she's putting the First Lady of Ondo State chores into her daily routine, she doesn't sleep. The break-and passion in her is something that anybody who has foresight, who knows what cancer does to a family, it scatters family, it breaks family, it hurts family. You will not wish it for your enemy. And that's exactly what she's doing. She's making sure that this cancer scourge that's all over is brought to a minimum.
She's a very intelligent woman, very committed, very hardworking. She's committed to her cause, what she believes in. And she believes in service to humanity. She believes that no woman should die in her productive age because of breast cancer. She believes in early detection and presentation. She believes in teamwork. You see, you need to see her break down anytime she hears that a young woman in her productive years, or a young woman who is supposed to be alive taking care of her husband, children, fall down to breast cancer. She feels so bad. She can be very, very emotional when it comes to that. But she will say this thing could have been prevented if this particular person, dictated early and presented early.
When I started, nobody wanted to, be identified with this organization because of the name, Breast Cancer Association of Nigeria. Everybody thought if you're a member of BRECAN, you have breast cancer, but that's not true. It all started because I couldn't get somebody that had same experience with me because they were not ready to show their faces to the public. Rather, my friends rallied around me. And it wasn't like I always say, it wasn't as if they wanted to change the world, you understand? It's just they wanted to support a friend. And that was how we trudged on and we kept on.
Survivors,